A very good morning, dear children. Today we are going to continue and complete with the remaining part of chapter 11, Human Body and Organ System. Today we are going to start learning about blood. Blood is a red colored connective tissue. Why is it called connective tissue? Mainly because it connects different parts of the body. It is salty in taste and the pH is neutral. When we were learning about acids and bases, I told you that any material or substance which has a pH of less than 6 is acid. Anything which has a pH of more than 8 is alkaline, whereas blood is 7.4, and that is why you call it to be neutral. Blood mainly has two components. As you can see here, the yellow colored fluid kind of a substance you have, which is called as plasma, and you have these circular substances in that which are nothing but your blood cells. So we're going to start by learning about plasma. If you collect blood in a test tube and you keep it undisturbed for a long period of time, you will see that the blood cells will settle down to form a red colored layer, and you will have a yellow colored layer on the top. This yellow colored layer that is formed at the top is nothing but plasma. If you collect blood, from that 45% will be the blood cells and 55% will be plasma. Plasma consists of 92% of water and 7% of proteins. When I say 7% of proteins, which are these proteins? Three are there in that: albumin, globulin, and fibrinogen. Albumin helps in distributing water all over the body. Globulin helps in protection, and fibrinogen is used in the blood clotting process. Other than having water, proteins, plasma also has inorganic ions or salts like potassium, calcium, sodium, which helps in controlling the function of muscles and nerves. From the blood cells, we have three types in the blood cell. The first one is RBC, also called as red blood cells or erythrocytes. These are small circular enucleated cells. Enucleated cells means they don't have a nucleus. In place of nucleus, they have a protein called hemoglobin. We know that hemoglobin helps in collection of oxygen. Because of hemoglobin, these cells are red in color. We have approximately 50 to 60 lakh RBCs. They are produced in the bone marrow and they have a period of 100 to 127 days in our body. Once this period is over, they get destroyed and there are new RBCs which are made in the bone marrow. The second type of cell is WBCs or white blood cells. As the name itself is telling you, even though it says white, these are colorless cells which have nucleus and they are large. The total number of 5,000 to 10,000 WBCs we have in our blood, and they are types in it. We have basophils, neutrophils, eosinophils, lymphocytes, monocytes. These are the 5 types of WBCs that are present in our body. These also are produced in the bone marrow and they are used for protection, or they are also called as soldiers of the body. Then you have platelets. Platelets help in blood clotting process. They are very small and they are disc shaped. A total of 2.5 to 4 lakh platelets are present in a body. Now if you go to relate what you learnt about the cells and what you learnt about the proteins in the plasma, they are almost the same. So when you're learning it, you can learn it in that way. Albumin is used for distribution of water. Red blood cell is distribution of oxygen. Globulin is used for protection. White blood cell is also used for protection. Fibrinogen was used in blood clotting. Platelet is also used for blood clotting. So you can learn it in that way. But why are we learning about blood? Because blood plays a very important role. It plays multiple roles in our body. For example, blood collects oxygen from the lungs and circulates it to all the cells in the body, and in return collects carbon dioxide from there and takes it back to the lungs, which we have learned already in respiration. Second is, it takes nutrients from the alimentary canal and supplies it to all parts of the cell. It collects waste substances from all the cells and circulates it or takes it to the kidney for excretion. It protects, as we already learned about globulin and white blood cell, it is helping in protecting. We also know that blood, it also transports or it takes enzymes and hormones that are needed for different reactions in the body, takes it to that place where the reaction is taking place. The body temperature, our body temperature is maintained at 37 degrees Celsius. That is because of vasodilation and vasoconstriction. Now, what is vasodilation? Vasodilation means where the blood vessels, they are becoming wider, and vasoconstriction is where they become narrow. So because of this becoming wider and narrower, our body temperature gets maintained at 37 degrees Celsius. So all this is the functions of the blood, and that's the main reason why it is very important that we learn about blood and we learn about how it is helping in our day-to-day function. Depending upon the antigens and the antibodies present in a person's blood, blood is grouped into 4: A, B, AB and O. What are these antigens and the antibodies? Antigens are nothing but they are the markers or the particulate substances that are present on the blood cells, and antibodies are nothing but they are Y-shaped molecules that are present in the blood. They keep circulating in the blood. Now, if you see, every antibody or every antigen can be different. If you look at the left hand side, the circular substance that you see, the marker is triangular shaped, and same kind of binding site will be present on the antibody shown. So this antibody which is on the left can bind or can attach to the cell that you see, mainly because the marker and the binding site have the same shape. Similarly, if you see on the right hand side, the cell has a antigen that is present on the surface. The same shape of the marker is present on the antibody that you see on the right. And because of this, the antibody can attach onto the surface. The antibody will be able to bind to the antigen only if the shape of the binding site matches with the shape of the antigen. Okay, now depending upon the antigen and the antibody, we will learn about blood groups. As I told you, there are 4 types of blood group: A, B, AB and O. The person who has blood group A has antigen A and antibody B. A blood group is further divided into A positive and A negative. Blood group B, those people who have blood group B have antigen B and antibody A. This again is divided into 2, B positive and B negative. Blood group AB. Now here, those people who have AB blood group, they have both antigen A also and antigen B also on their surface blood cells, but they don't have any kind of antibody. The same, you have AB positive and AB negative. O are those people who have blood group O. They have no antigen on the surface of the cell, but they have both antibodies A and antibody B. Here also you will have O positive and O negative. So this is what we've learned about blood group. Whenever you are learning about blood group, always remember when you are talking about antigens, antigen will be same as the blood group. Look at the first column, group A. A group will have A antigen. B group will have B antigen. AB group will have A and B antigen, and group O has no antigen. Okay, so when you are telling antigen, antigen will be same as the blood group, but antibodies will be opposite to that. Group A has B antibody, group B has A antibody, group AB has no antibody, and group O has both antibody. Okay, it is very important that this chart is learned and it is in your mind, because it is very important. Okay, it is very important that you know the antigens and the antibodies present in all the blood group. All right, why are we learning about blood group? If a person meets with an accident and bleeding occurs through the wounds, many a times the person, for his or her survival, may need blood from another person. At that point of time, when blood has to be given to someone for survival, it is very important that the blood groups are checked, because if the blood groups are different, the person may face a lot of consequences. This process of giving blood to another person, or taking blood or transfusing blood into the needful person, is called as blood transfusion. If you look at this picture, the B part of it shows what happens when two different blood groups come together. Normally, as I told you, there are antigens and there are antibodies. So antibodies, they react with the blood cells in the person and they destroy the blood cells completely. So a person who's taking a wrong blood group, or if the blood transfusion occurs and there's a cross match, many a times what happens is the blood cells, they get destroyed, and this may lead to death of the person. That is why it is very important that blood group is considered before blood transfusion. Blood bank. Blood is collected in the blood bank by specific method from the healthy person, and it is supplied to those who need it. If the blood is not needed immediately, then it is stored for some days in the refrigerator. The person who donates the blood is called as the blood donor, and the person who receives the blood is called as the blood recipient. Normally 350 ml of blood is collected from a person during donation, and the body obviously will restore whatever is lost in 24 hours. Normally a pregnant or breastfeeding woman, they cannot donate blood. 1st October is observed as the National Voluntary Blood Donation Day. A healthy person of age more than 18 years can donate the blood for 3 or 4 times in a year. There is no trouble normally during or after the blood donation. Now, as we have learned about blood types, we will now see which blood group can give the blood to which. That means who's going to be the donor. If the donor is A positive, who can be the recipients? That is what we're going to see now. Now here on the screen, if you see whatever is given in the center, that is basically the blood of the donor. Okay, and those you see on the left and the right, that is O positive, A positive, B positive, AB positive, and those in the negative, that is on the left and the right that you see, are the recipients. That means the people who want blood. So if the donor is A positive, his blood can be given for which recipient? That is what we are going to see. So here the person is A positive. He can donate his blood to two recipients, the one which is of the same blood group and AB positive. So A positive can give his blood to A positive recipient and AB positive recipient. Okay. If the person is A negative, he can give it to A positive, A negative, AB positive, AB negative. If the person is B positive, he can give it to B positive and AB positive. If he is B negative, he can give it to B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative. If the person is AB positive, he cannot give his blood to any other person other than the same blood group. If he is AB negative, he can give it to AB positive and AB negative. O positive can give the blood to O positive, A positive, B positive, AB positive. And O negative can give blood to everybody of any blood group. Okay, so from this you must have understood that people who are of blood group O, they can give the blood to anybody, and that is why person of blood group O, they are called as universal donors. But if you had seen about blood group AB, these are those who can take the blood from anybody. So the person with blood group AB, they are called as universal recipients because they can take blood from anyone. And O, they are universal donors, they can give the blood to anyone. Okay. Now from this, the groups which we learned, A, B and O, these are the three blood groups which was discovered in the year 1900 by Carl Landsteiner. Now 2 years later, De Castello and Stirling, these were the two people who then discovered blood group AB. So already A, B and O was known, and 2 years later AB was discovered. Okay. Now, blood we know is continuously flowing through the blood vessels, and this happens because of the contraction and relaxation of the heart. The pressure that is exerted on the wall of the arteries is called as the blood pressure. Pressure of the blood is important. It has to be proper so that every part of the body receives the blood. The pressure can be recorded. This pressure that is recorded during the contraction of the heart is called systolic pressure, and the one that is recorded during relaxation of the heart is called diastolic pressure. The blood pressure of the healthy person is 120 by 80, and it is measured with the help of sphygmomanometer. If in case the blood pressure of the person is very high, it is more than 120 by 80, then it is referred, that condition is called as hypertension. In such cases, the heart needs to perform more function than the normal condition. In hypertension condition, the systolic and diastolic pressure is high. That is, it is going to be 140 by 90 or 159 by 99 in hypertension condition. I hope everything that was done today is clear to all of you. Thank you.